Hi everybody, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're all doing well. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. Helps the single mom and I appreciate it. But I hope you had a good Mother's Day, all of you moms, whether it be to humans or pets. I hope you had a good day. And if not, I'm sorry. I really am. Because I know how that can be. But anyway, let's get into the subject. You might think, what a weird title. Well, yeah, it is kind of a weird title, huh? But the reason I started thinking about this was because of an article I read a long time ago. I mean, we're talking a long time ago. That got me to thinking. For some reason it came into my mind today. And it made me stop and think, why do some people die young, some people die very old? And let's get into it right away in terms of, let's say, okay, I guess it's kind of a religious aspect of it. Let's say that, okay, a child is born, and the child dies 10 minutes after it's born. The baby is born. A precious, sweet baby is born. And our souls, let's say that this is about souls, okay, just for the sake of argument, so don't get all ruffled because it's this religious thing. It's just for sake of argument. Let's say all the souls, they have dues to pay, okay? Let's say you're a good soul, and you're a not so good soul, and you've got some lessons to learn, some dues to pay. And you know how they say that a lot of people believe that earth is hell. That's, you know, that's why you hear the hell on earth, right? So a lot of people do believe that hell is here on earth, which isn't that crazy to think about, guys. There's a lot that we go through in our life. The longer we live, the more hardships we go through, the more difficulties, the pain, the suffering, whether it be emotional, mental, physical, we suffer in one way or another, right? And you have to stop and think, why is it that some people have certain degrees of suffering? Like maybe, yeah, through your life you had to deal with an illness or whatever, but you've gotten through and you lead a fairly normal life, and you look at your life and you think, I think I have a pretty good life, right? I think about that. And then there are those who have horrendous things to deal with throughout their life. Maybe they were born with a disability that makes their life very difficult. Or they suffer with mental issues of depression and anxiety that's really severe. We all go through ups and downs, but I'm talking somebody who has severe depression and anxiety and just doesn't even have the will to live most days. And it makes you wonder, does each soul have a time here on earth, because this is hell? And so when a baby is born, or even before that baby is born, it dies in the womb. And we, of course, people grieve. They're devastated. Their child didn't make it, or their child dies very young, and of course that is devastating. I can't even fathom that. I can't even fathom that kind of pain. But that, maybe that child's soul is how I like to look at it when it comes to children dying, young children, is they were a good soul, just had a little lesson to learn, and their time on earth was that short because that little soul was not supposed to go through the hardship of life. You know what I'm saying? Their time was short. And then there's somebody who lives to 90, and they were miserable, just miserable throughout their whole life. And that was their lesson. That was their suffering and their dues that they were supposed to pay. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are these individual souls supposed to pay a certain price or do a certain amount of suffering to learn a lesson here on earth? Excuse me, guys. I'm still dealing with that stuff from the bug I got. But it does get me to thinking early, because what is it that decides, well, you're going to die, this person's going to die 10 minutes after they're born, this one's going to live to 110, 20. I don't want to live to that age. I don't want to be all, you know, crumpled up in a wheelchair and unable to care for myself and having to be taken care of like an infant because I'm so old. I don't want that. But it does make me think. I'm thinking, gosh, I turned 70 last month. Am I supposed to, are there more dues that I'm supposed to pay? Because I admit my life has not been an easy life. I've had a pretty hard life in a lot of ways, but I'm also very lucky in a lot of ways because I do have good health. Aside from, the typical things that come up through life, some illness, what have you. But I don't have achy joints. I'm not in pain every day. I don't have things that make me feel sick every day. I am very lucky in that respect. No diseases. Issues with my teeth. Who doesn't have that at some point? I did lose hearing in my left ear. About 75% of my hearing in my left ear because of COVID. It settled in my ear, of all things. Went from the nose and the throat to my ear. Killed off some nerve endings. But that's just the way it goes. I've learned to deal with that. But other than that, I don't have any health issues. So what is the degree that we're supposed to suffer while we are here on earth, right? Like, I've lived to 70. I've had a lot of heartache. There has been a lot of pain and suffering in a lot of ways. I did have an illness back in the 90s that almost killed me. I got rheumatic fever. But thanks to my homeopath doctor, she brought me out of it when they sent me home to die on morphine. That's what the hospital did. But she brought me out of it. And I stop and think, why is it that some people live however long they're supposed to? They have a lot of suffering or a little suffering, regardless. Let's say a child lives to 7 years old, but they had a terrible life because of, the circumstances. Maybe they were severely abused by their parents or who was ever taking care of them. Maybe they were neglected and ignored. And their 7 years was their time here on earth for whatever lesson that soul was supposed to learn. I can't imagine anything that you're supposed to learn from being abused by your own parents, but who knows. But 7 years old, it was like, okay, your soul has learned its lesson. It's done its dues for what you did before. We're just kind of dealing in that kind of aspect, okay? So, like I said, don't get all upset because it's in a religious type of thing. I'm just speaking in general terms of why we're here, how we got here, why some people have to go through so much through their life while others go through minimal but yet live a long life. So is it like they're supposed to live a long life and have a lot of little sufferings in between? And I mean, think about the people right now. There are people right now sitting in their homes or sitting on the street wishing they would die. They just want to die. They're done. They're tired of life. They just want out. You can't blame a lot of people because their lives are very hard. And so I think about my brother who died at 36. He was murdered. He was shot in the head. That was beyond devastating. I don't even remember his funeral or anything after. It was such a shock to me I can't remember. And my sister died at 49 from heart failure because she was diabetic from the time she was a teenager, and she suffered a lot. I remember her having to be taken to the hospital. She'd go into shock from her diabetes. She started having eye problems. She couldn't control her blood sugars no matter what. She did suffer. But she died at 49. And I stop and think, was that their time? Were they being spared a life ahead that would have been extremely difficult? My brother, I'm going to be honest here, he was into drugs. He did get into drugs and alcohol, sadly. And I stop and think, was he and my sister being spared a lot more difficulty, which it would have been for my sister. She was going through a lot. And my brother could have ended up this severe on the street drug addict, homeless kind of person. Maybe they did their time here on earth. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, are we supposed to be here for a certain time for a certain reason to be in this hell on earth. And a lot of you I know will say, oh no, I love my life, my life's wonderful, I can't imagine, I don't want to die, blah, blah, blah. Well, how do we know that after this, that's it? It's wonderful, it's glorious, right? That's because we don't know. Nobody really knows. You only know what you've been taught through whatever belief system of what's going to happen when we die. And who knows? Maybe we're supposed to be reincarnated. Maybe, a lot of people believe in reincarnation. And it's like, okay, you did a good job on Earth this time. What do you want to go back? Do you want to go back or not? Who knows what happens after this? But it did get me to thinking about it of why. I mean, the devastation that it causes a parent to lose a young child, any child. I mean, if one of my children were to die now, it would destroy me. I'd feel destroyed. But I can't imagine waiting 9 months or however long, you're pregnant and you get that baby and then it's gone immediately. I think I would probably have gone nuts if that had happened because of the pain it would cause the person. But how do we know that that little baby that didn't make it out of the womb or was only around for a short time compared to a lifespan, how do we know they weren't being spared some kind of suffering? I don't know, guys. It just was one of those things that got me to thinking about, what is it that decides someone's supposed to be here for such a short time, literally minutes, to being really old? What is it that decides that? I know you all will have your beliefs. You'll believe in God or Jesus or some other kind of spiritual belief as to why we're here for however long we're here. Everybody has different views, and I don't consider any of them right or wrong. Everybody has to do what they have to do to get it through this life. You believe in what you need to. But yeah, that's why I say, dying early, dying young, or dying old, which one is better? It does make you think, because when you think about getting old, really old, boy have I seen it. As a caregiver, I was a caregiver for the elderly for many years. And oh my goodness, the things I saw, that they went through. It's a pretty tough journey when you get older. It's pretty tough. And yeah, it can all be depend on how you look at it, I guess, but there's no doubt that it is a hardship and a lot of fears that come up when you get older. And why is it that some people die like that? They have a heart attack, a stroke, or they get killed somehow, like my brother. He was just gone. He got shot, it was over. They said he dropped, the witnesses said he dropped, he was gone. And then there are those who suffer with a horrible illness, painful illness, till the day they die. Why is that? Why is it that somebody has to go through all of that and someone else just goes like that? They're gone instantly. No extreme suffering. Or somebody who dies in their sleep, right? That's my wish, that I go in my sleep. But yeah, it just got me to thinking about when we die, young, middle-aged, really old, whatever, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, why? Why is it that we're individually, okay, you're going to die at 5 months old, you're going to die at 110. It just, I don't know, this is just kind of girl chat stuff, guys. I'm just in the mood to kind of girl chat. Come here, Lily. Come here, baby. Come on, Lily. Come on. Come on. She's looking at me like, come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Lily. Oh, my little girl. She got a boo-boo, guys. She cut the back of her pad, the pad on the back of her paw, doing the zoomies. She got something out there. I don't know what in the yard. So I got it medicined up, and I've got her bandaged up so she can heal. But yeah, and it just makes me wonder about death for humans, even for animals for that matter. You can buy a dog and plan on having it for 10, 15 years, and it dies at a year. It's like, Do they have a purpose for being here, short or long, as well? It's just one of those things, guys, that has just came up in my mind. I don't know why, but it did. And it makes me wonder, if this is hell, if Earth is hell, are we here to pay the dues that we're supposed to for whatever reason? Or maybe our souls, if you believe in souls type thing, our souls have so many lessons to learn, and then once that lesson is learned, it's over. You can go back to peace now. It's just, I don't know, just one of those subjects that that just come into my mind. I forgot to check the time here, guys. I looked at it and I forgot to check it. I think it was 11:30 I started. Yeah, I think it was. Anyway, I'm going to check the clock real quick on the camera because I stupidly did not pay attention. Oh yeah, I've only got a couple minutes, so it's okay, baby. You don't have to leave. Oh. Oh. So anyway, that's what I was. That was what was on my mind, and it kind of came up because of Mother's Day yesterday and my mom passing, and you know, she's gone, and it made me think about, she did not have the easiest life either. Neither did my father. He was a prisoner of the Nazis for a couple of years and suffered terrible torture. Starvation and torture, you name it. He went through hell in being a prisoner of the Nazis. But in World War II, his plane was shot down, and he survived when I was told that the Germans shot all the other ones bailing out of the plane when his plane was shot, and they didn't shoot him. They took him as prisoner. But it's just one of those things, guys, that I just wonder, why are some of us here for such a short time and others for such a long time? What makes that decision? Are we here to learn lessons, and once we've learned it, it's time to go back to a better place? Just makes me wonder. Tell me what you think, guys, what your views are, and don't look at it as this religious aspect thing. It's just just chat for the sake of argument about life, because it is perplexing why we're here, how we got here, why we're here, short or long, whatever we suffer, why we have to go through what we go through, when some do, some don't, you know, the whole thing. So anyway, guys, take care and you have a good one, and I will talk to you in my next video. See you later. Bye-bye. Have a good week ahead. Hi, babies.